All my preset packs and free FLPs are available at yourmusic.com. What's up guys? Today I am going to make a track out of this vocal sample that I found. And as you can tell, I've set the project tempo to 135, so this is going to be more of a up-tempo track, which is really fun, I think. Let's have a listen to this vocal and then we'll take it from there.
I am blinded by your light. You shine on me, 'cause I am blinded by your light.
And the vocal is being processed a little bit. I'm adding some OTT, some CLA vocals, just to compress it a bit more and make it wider. A lot of delay and a lot of reverb. One short reverb, room reverb, and then one longer reverb. And then finally, to bring out the reverb and delay even more, I compress it just a little bit after the reverb and the delay. And then I finish it off with a low cut. So that's the processing for the vocal. I added this string sound in the intro. This sound consists of two layers. The first one is string ensemble from the Kashmir pack, and that sounds like this. And on top of that, I have another layer from the same pack. The sound is mostly coming from the processing. I did a lot of things to this sound actually. I added chorus, vintage chorus. I believe this is a free plugin. So just to widen the sound and make it a bit more interesting. Then I went ahead and added RC20 to really give the sound a lot of character. So I'm adding some noise, I'm adding wobble, I'm adding a little bit of distortion, reverb-ish effect, and then some more wobble. So let's have a listen without these effects. And then with the chorus and retro color. It's really coming to life. And then a little bit of widening. And I tried to use gross beat to create some rhythm, but I ended up not using it. I left that out, but I did add Valhalla Vintage Verb, a pretty long reverb this time to make this sound huge. And then finally an EQ. In the intro I also added this guitar. And then I added a Reese bass. And this is from my Modern Dance Sound preset pack. It's the Reese 2. And what's important with this sound is the portamento, or the bend between the notes. And I didn't do any processing at all to this sound. But if you listen to the strings together with the bass drone, it creates such a great atmosphere. I also have this drone sound, also from one of my preset packs. It's a vocal drone. And then finally a string drone. Let's move on to the build-up section. Here it's all about the piano. The layers are M1, Nexus, another Nexus preset, and then the Addictive Keys, Intense Keys preset. To get the piano sound right, the processing is very important. Here I did a pretty simple processing for the piano. This is not finished at all. I have to improve on this if I want to release this track, but it's a good start. I added OTT, some saturation to bring out the high end, and then an EQ boosting the 5K, and some reverb and delay. So a very simple piano processing, but a very good start, and this is typically the type of processing I use for my pianos. If I wanted to improve on this more, I would probably do some more precise EQing and maybe some more compression. So besides from the piano, we have the drone, this rhythmic vocal, a little snare roll. And I like to do this short snare fills. I could have went for a long snare roll here throughout the entire build-up section, but I think it's pretty cool to just keep it very minimal and it makes it sound really clean. So let's move on to the drop. We can start with the bass line. Very simple. The kick is short and punchy. Consists of 2 layers. That layer and then this top kick to give it some extra punch. The bass line consists of 3 layers. It's a sub. Then there's a main sound, MK preset, also from one of my preset packs. I think it's the Selected Style Volume 3 preset pack. And then just to give it some more attack, I add the kick sample on top. The bass is being processed with OTT 37%, RC20 just to distort the bass, saturation to bring out the high end of the bass, a little bit of room reverb to make it sound more full, and then an EQ boosting the 350 hertz, something like that, because that's usually where you find a lot of the character in the bass line. Then I'm removing the very high end from the bass, and I'm also removing the low end just because I want the sub to be playing on its own. And the sub is being processed with OTT 40%, and I remove all the high end from the sub. That's it for the bass line. Let's move on to the drums. It's only a few elements. A hi-hat and another hi-hat, and then a shaker loop. And I like to have a main hi-hat that's a bit louder in volume, and then a fast shaker loop sitting below in the mix at a much lower volume, because that creates a real nice groove, I think. And I didn't add any claps here at all. It wasn't needed. There was so much energy already, and since the track is super fast, 135, I felt it didn't need any claps. I added this lead in the second part of the drop. And this is a preset. Whoops. It's a preset from the Modern Dance Sounds preset pack that I tweaked a little bit. And I added some processing, OTT, saturation, reverb, and an EQ, boosting the high end and removing some low end. And I placed this lead pretty low in volume compared to the piano, because I still want the piano to be the main element in this drop. For atmospheric sounds, I added this vocal drone. And the vocal is pretty much the same in the drop. There's the same processing as in the build-up. Nothing else is going on with the vocal in the drop. For the sidechaining in the drop, I have the sub being sidechained at 100%. And then I have the top bass being sidechained at about 50%. And then I sidechain the drums also at about 50%. The lead I sidechain a bit more because I want it to be in the background. But the piano, which is routed to the instrument bus here, is only being sidechained about 30%. What I want to say with this is make sure to sidechain every element differently, because that will give you much more control and a better result. That's it for this drop idea. I hope you learned something from this video. And let me know if you want me to release this track and to finish this track, because this is still, in my opinion, at the idea stage. It's pretty rough in my opinion. The mix is not perfect yet, but the idea is there at least. So let's check out the final result.
I am blinded by your light. You shine on me.